Welcome back to the Friday Club Break Time with interview. I'm delighted that this week I'm talking to Sarah Flaherty of Alexandra College, Dublin. Sarah, welcome so much and thank you for taking some time out of your morning to talk with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Just before we begin then, Sarah, could you tell us a little bit about you, what you do and what life is like at Alexandra College in Dublin, please?
So Alexandra College is a girls' school for ages 3 to 19, from preschool all the way up through secondary school. We're located in Dublin, Ireland. And we also have a boarding residence, so we have students from all over Ireland and the world. Alexandra College was actually one of the first institutions for women's education in Ireland, and it was founded to provide an equal level of education to boys' schools. So the first women to be awarded third level degrees in the UK or Ireland in 1884, 6 of them studied at Alex. So we've got this really long, rich history of holistic women's education, and it's really great. So I am the marketing manager at Alex, and I manage the website, do the social media, pretty much all things digital marketing. So that's me.
It sounds like it must be really busy for you. What does an average day look like as marketing manager there?
You know, there really are no average days. Any given day, I'm brainstorming our social media content, taking photos and videos around school. I'm managing the website, updating our content, setting up any digital advertising we might run. We do interviews with our staff every week, so that's a big part of my time. And sometimes I'm sending the parent communications. It's, you know, a little bit of everything.
Thank you. So you've been in post at Alexandra College since November 2019, which means you started right before COVID was something that any of us had heard of probably or spoke about day to day. What adaptations have you had to adjust to since you started back in November?
Yeah, so to give you some background, my previous experience was in politics and community organizing. So I had a lot of experience with digital, but actually this was my first role in a school. So I had about 6 months to get used to, you know, the Irish market, the education system here, having not grown up in it myself. But I was really interested in working in a school, especially one with an international element like Alex, because I came here as an international student to Ireland, and the experience was really interesting to me, and I wanted to be able to provide that support to other people, whether it's at second level, third level, anywhere. So I had about 6 months to get used to life at Alex and getting to know the community and the real feel for the school, which was actually really important when suddenly we were all working from home. So early lockdown was a big change because no one was in the classroom. So all of our content changed. Everything was different. It was all Zoom screenshots rather than photos in the classroom. And suddenly I was even more dependent on external content from the staff because I wasn't in the classroom. So the relationships I'd built with teachers and everyone was really, really important once that happened. So we had to adapt to that. We had to adapt to using video. I think a lot of people saw that everyone was using video all the time. It was a big thing for us. And the other thing was I write our weekly newsletter every week, and suddenly all the content changed. So we didn't have any student news or events going on. So suddenly we needed content to fill those spaces. So we started a staff spotlight, which has been really successful. I interview a teacher every week and we post those, and it's been a really great way to bring the community together through the lockdown. So that was fun.
It must feel slightly odd to be on the other side of the interview scenario then today. Yeah.
Yeah. Our principal interviewed me for the staff spotlight in January, and that was a big adjustment. Suddenly I knew what everybody else was going through.
Yeah, of course. So you've told me, Sarah, then that you manage 4 different social media accounts for Alex. What types of content do you post on each of those channels?
So yeah, we have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn for the school accounts. There are a couple of other associated accounts that I don't run. Our music department and our drama department have their own Twitters and Instagrams, which is fantastic. They do a great job. But for content, we really do student news and achievements, events, any alumni achievements, any incredible pieces of work from the students, because they really do come up with some fantastic work. It's mostly an even mix of our junior school and senior school content. So we cover, the whole gamut, and the staff spotlight interviews go up there as well. So that's a weekly feature. One of the things we actually don't do is differentiate the content for the channels. It's something I'm looking to change for this year, but it mostly comes down to time for us. I have so much help from the administration staff, the teachers, but I'm also the only person who's pushing publish on a post. It's a one woman department, so there's a limit to how much I can do and how much copy I can write in a day. So yeah.
Where do you find you get most traction out of interest? Which channel?
Instagram, by far. And I might be biased because that's my favorite channel, but I found the channel had 200 followers when I joined the school and no one was using it. And now we're at 1,100 followers, I believe, which is really, really great. And the girls are really following themselves and their parents are there, and we've just had really great traction off of that one.
Amazing. And your Instagram handle is Alexandra College for anybody who wants to check out what you've put on there. So fabulous, thank you. One of the things that you talked to me before about, Sarah, and really sparked our conversations and got this session set up, was this concept of scrappy content. And I'd not heard that phrase before, but really liked it. Could you explain for anybody listening what you mean by scrappy content?
Yeah, so I first heard the term from Rachel Carton, who's a social media expert. She has this incredible newsletter called Link in Bio, but I found it really fit what our social strategy looked like for the last 2 years. Because when I started, I felt so much pressure to follow all the best practices that I knew. Schedule all your posts, you want highest quality visuals, you want that DSLR shot every time, you want to differentiate all of your channels for your different audiences. And I just didn't have enough hours in the day to do that. I didn't always have the DSLR with me. I was finding that it was actually easier to get photos on my phone because the girls would hear the sound of the shutter and immediately give me the deer in the headlights look. So I found it was just easier and more subtle that way. I was finding out about school happenings at the last minute. So I would have a schedule for a whole month and then it would completely change within hours. And that was just really, really frustrating. And so I started just trying to live by the principle, you just use the best possible device that you can with the least amount of effort. If you have the time to set up the tripod, film something on the nice camera, you do that. But if you don't have the time, just take the photos on the phone. It's better to have it than not at all, because kids move fast. Kids move really fast, and you're going to miss a lot of moments if you're putting all that pressure on yourself. So this started as a way to relieve the pressure on our social media channels, but it actually turned out to have a really, really positive impact on our content. And I think the key thing is it really reflects school life now. People are used to seeing polished brands and content, but that's not what our lives look like. It's not a photo that I could have taken of, my child as they're at school. And so that started to have a really positive impact. And then the pandemic and TikTok both really made this even more true. Everybody was working from home. We got used to seeing that video that wasn't high quality content. And the brands that are doing well on TikTok and Instagram are the ones that aren't working with fancy equipment. My favorite example is the Washington Post's TikTok. It's one man in his apartment filming TikToks about the news, but he's really immediately recognizable. He comes up, you know exactly what that is, and it creates authenticity and trust, and it's a great way to do it. So yeah, it had a great effect. And the other thing is that I really started to prioritize the girls, our students first and foremost. Social media is a place for them. We're celebrating them. It is a useful tool for attracting prospective parents, but if you prioritize the community, that's going to create that genuine picture of life, and the prospective parents are going to respond to that too.
And do your students like seeing themselves captured in your social media posts?
They love it.
Yeah.
I think long before they really knew who I was, because I'm not a teacher, I'm not in the classroom. They kind of picked up that if I'm walking around with my phone out, something was going on Instagram. And so they really started to watch for it and pay attention. And at the end of this past school year, actually, the head girl mentioned the school Instagram in her graduation speech, which was really touching for me, because it really meant that the girls were following along and saw themselves there. And that was really important to me. So
great. Are there any examples of this type of scrappy content that you think have made the biggest impact at Alex?
Yeah, I think it's the posts that I just take on the go. I walk by and there happens to be something great. We had one day I was walking onto campus and there was a music class outside in this giant circle, and they were all playing a singing game of some sort. And the early morning light, there was a little bit of like fog in the air. The lighting was just gorgeous. And that photo was just one I happened upon. Once I was working from the boarding residence, just happened to be around, and two of our boarders over the midterm were baking an orange juice cake, which I had never heard of, but we put the recipe on Instagram. Everyone loved it. It was a great time, and it was a great way to connect over the midterm. So that worked great. Then we had Funky Friday, which is a series that we do. Every day there's an assembly in the school, and on Fridays, the music department performs a popular song of some sort. They have a wide range of songs that they pick, but when lockdown hit, they actually started filming them remotely and editing it all together, and we put that on social media. And we were hearing from parents and alumni that we don't really usually hear from, that this was the highlight of the week. It was a great feature.
Yeah,
but
that's amazing.
Yeah, but I think the biggest impact was it actually meant that I'm getting more content from teachers. They often, every time they say to me, oh, my photos are probably not good enough, but they're always good enough. They're always really great, and I get the best content. Most of the best content hasn't been created by me. Our prefects put together this video to announce the themes for our Halloween fun day this year. And that was by far our best content. I think it will stay our best piece for the next couple of years. It performed great because it was the girls themselves.
Do you think that there will still be a place for the corporately lovely, polished content that schools have typically done in the past?
I mean, there's always going to be a place for it. It might be more often your website, but there's always going to be a place for that, especially because, the idea of use the best possible device, but the least amount of effort means that if you've got that high quality photo, that's the one you use. You pick the one that looks the best. So, I mean, we have definitely used high-res photos on our content, but, I think the most important thing is your content doesn't have to be polished in order to be valuable, but there's always going to be the value to that high quality visual content. So balance is important. Mixing the polished content with the quick snaps is going to give you a really genuine feel for school life.
Sounds like students are really getting involved with that. You said earlier that the head girl talking about the Instagram channel in her speech was really touching for you. What kind of feedback have you had from parents?
They've also been really positive about it. They haven't been able to come into the classroom this year, especially in the junior school where parents would be a lot more involved. And having all of this content out there has actually given them a sense of what's happening in the classroom where they really don't have any other interaction. So there's been a really positive response to it, definitely.
That's so insightful. I mean, and I've definitely learned something new today and got some new TikToks to go and check out from your advice. So thank you. What's new for you at Alex in the new academic year?
Well, we've got a lot of new and exciting things I can't quite share yet. But the
Okay.
biggest project is our new boarding residence is going to be opening next August. So a lot of our content is going to actually be focused on that. We're going to be sharing what it's going to look like, all the fantastic uses of it, because there's these practice rooms, there's a lot of community space in there. So it's not just about a residence. So that's really exciting for us. And then from a content perspective, I think it's all going to be short form video. I'm working to incorporate reels into our strategy, and it looks like a lot of the other platforms to me are going to be borrowing TikTok features. So I think that's where we're looking next. I don't know if TikTok is on the cards for us, but we'll see. So yeah.
Busy then.
Yeah.
Super busy year again. That's really great. Thank you so much, Sarah. And I know that everybody watching this will have taken some useful bits of advice and tips away with them. It's really clear how passionate you are about your role in sharing the feel of your school at Alexandra College. So just a big thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you today.
Thanks so much for having me. I've really enjoyed it.